Hello, my name is Jackson Hardman. I'm doing the final project for Language of Lyrics and Poetry, and I'm choosing option B. The first poem I'll be reading is the playlist poem written by myself. To all the days that we were together, to all the times that we were apart, you don't know how little you matter until you are all alone. While she's been away, living day to day has been a struggle. One day together, the next arguments. We're behaving like teenagers. You're good at being bad, but you're bad at being good. The love I still have for you will never leave. When you hear this song, feel flattered because it's about your face. Miss isn't the word I would use. I'd say, see you later, if I thought I'd see you later. I think you might forget me. And I just let all the bad thoughts linger for too long. Getting over you is my problem. I'm sure there's lots of guys that see you, but I swear they're not as cool as me. One day, we'll find each other again. Next poem I'll be reading is the found poem written by myself. Always had a dream. Immediately loved everything about it. It was a reach for me. It was a dream I knew I could accomplish, and I wouldn't stop until I got it. Hoping for maybe a chance, trying to figure it out. All I had to do was wait. It was a dream I knew I could accomplish, and I wouldn't stop until I got it. My heart began to race. I'm greeted with my mother's tears. Overwhelming happiness filled the air. It was a dream I knew I could accomplish. I didn't stop until I got it. You did it, Jack, a mother says. Fulfilled their needs. Got to where I finally wanted to be. It was a dream I knew I could accomplish, and I did not stop until I got it. The next poem I'll be reading is A Line Storm by Robert Frost. The line storm clouds fly tattered and swift. The road is forlorn all day. Where in Madrid's snowy courts stones lift, and the hoof prints vanish away. The roadside flowers, too wet for the bee, expand their bloom in vain. Come over the hills and far with me, and be my love in the rain. The birds have less to say for themselves, in the wood world's torn despair, than now these numberless years the elves, although they are no less there. All song of the woods is crushed like some wild, easily shattered rose. Come, be my love in the wet woods. Come, where the bough rains when it blows. There is the gale to urge behind, and the brute are singing down, and the shallow waters aflutter with wind, from which to gather your gown. What matter if we go clear to the west, and come not through dry shod? For wilding brooch shall wet your breast, the rain fresh golden rod. Oh, never this whelming east wind swells, but it seems like the sea's return to the ancient lands where it has left the shells. Before the age of fern, and it seems like the time when after doubt our love came back amain. Oh, come forth into the storm and root, and be my love in the rain. Next poem I'll be reading is The Tiger by William Blake. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distance deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thine heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what a dread hand and what a dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? And what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with those tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? So this is my own personal reflections on all of the poems that I just read. So for the playlist poem, it really inspired me to reflect on my own feelings. The poem is not only like chosen from the music that I listen to, but it like really helps me understand the depth of the songs and sort of the lyrics that the songs are talking about. Like adding all these songs by like incredible musicians like the Beatles and like Mac DeMarco, you see like a common theme of them trying to relate to people's lives. Like they really like a lot of the music thing that I listen to is about like love, and like, and that's something everybody can eventually relate on. And I wanted to give this poem kind of like a sad feeling, and to like portray the message of like somebody who like had just like broken up and gotten out of a relationship, and like also like I felt like at times kind of got happy, kind of saying like, oh, but the guys, like, they're not as cool as me, just kind of like trying to brighten the mood at the same time, not making it too sad. And it also, I feel like it could give like insight into like the author's feelings. And then in some parts, yeah, I showed like the personality and the humbleness of like the reader is for like future readings. The next one I wrote about is the found poem. I chose it because like I thought it showed growth. That poem really just showed like someone growing, and like I made sure it was like more like bland and generic, not like speaking wise, but like so the first poem that I had was about like me getting into my future school, and like kind of talking about like I was like, oh, like I said like I got into school, and I made that the whole thing. So I made it not about the school, and I made it more about like getting something done and growing in certain aspects of your life. So it tells a story about the author, but it can also relate to everybody else who's reading the poem. So it's not just like you're hearing about my story, it's something that you can relate to too. And so it gave insight into like grind and effort and putting it all in your dreams. And like in the end I said like I didn't stop until I got it. So that's kind of showing like the grind of like getting this done and like actually having to work for your dreams. And it's kind of, I wanted to make it more of like a motivational poem. And then towards the end you kind of have like the relieving part and like getting all happy, and like you're happy that you completed your dreams. And that's mainly just the purpose of that poem, the found poem that I had going on. So now getting into the ones that I did not write, The Lion Storm, made by Robert Frost. I love this poem like right off the bat because it really portrays the person like kind of begging somebody to join in their life and be in their life and like kind of fight the hardships of life. There's so many things, and I felt that this poem really related heavily into my own life, and I think it can relate into everybody's life, finding a future, husband or wife. I mean, you're really asking this person to be like there for you forever and be there for you at all times. And I think that's something that the poems that really relate to somebody and like have meaningful connections to somebody, and it can really, spark emotion. He used a lot of metaphors, talking about like storms, and like he related his emotions and like what he was going through, and at telling this person like what he's going through, and he related it back to like storms. So like it kind of being like rainy, and like it got like really tense at sometimes, being like this is hard, like this is something that is very hard in his life, and he needs kind of like that support, that umbrella to kind of help him out and keep going. And I thought that was really interesting on some of the things that he did. And I wanted to write this in a more like yearning, like urging tone, to really like portray this person like begging the other person, their future lover, to be in life with them, to sort of fight this fight of life with them, and really just be there for them. And I think that's such an important message that he some of the words that he uses are very old. It's a very old poem, and it still to this day can relate to so many different people. Like, yes, there's like a million different things about like love and like trying to be with somebody, but really fighting with somebody, that's what marriage is. You have to go through so many different things, and I thought him portraying that, he portrayed it in such an amazing way. So the final poem is The Tiger by William Blake. And this was him sort of talking about like a higher power, something like a God type of power, and his fear of it. So like the fear of like this higher power that he has no control over. And in the poem, he subjectifies it with like having a lamb, and like a lamb being like the most innocent thing, but at the same time he's making other things that are terrifying and ugly. So he's really just like he uses a lot of adjectives like burning bright to really try to explain like the beauty and the scariness of it. Like, so like burning, like they're kind of like two like clashing things, like burning bright, like something that's just like it's burning, like it's terrible that it's burning, but it's burning so brightly, it's giving light to other things, you know what I mean? So it's his fear of this higher power. And I really wanted to read it like in a confused, sort of scared manner, because all throughout the poem he seems really scared, and he's asking questions. The whole entire poem is him just asking questions, like, what is this thing? Like, who dares to fight against this thing? Which really shows like how confused and scared he is. So I really wanted to make it kind of like a scared manner. You're like, what's going on? Kind of freaked out. And and you know, kind of giving this like amazingly terrified feeling. You know, he's really like amazed by this higher power, but at the same time he's scared of what it can do. You know, and that kind of relates back to the whole lamb thing and how it's so cute and cuddly, but he makes some really scary, terrifying things. So that was really my reflections of all the poems. I thought they were all amazing, and yeah, that's why I chose them all. Thank you so much.